Potomac Beads. Join me in making Sheryl's Marlee Bracelet, featuring some beautiful Czech pearls as well as Potomac crystals. If you need any supplies, check out the links below to shop with us online. Gather up your materials and let's get started. So to begin, you want to gather up your supplies. We're going to begin with our 6mm pearls as well as our 11 OC beads. I have some .006 wildfire beading thread and a size 12 needle. I'm going to thread the needle and add a stop bead to the end of the thread. I'm not going to leave too much of a tail here because we'll be coming back down the bracelet to do the top embellishment, so we'll add the clasp at that point to this side. From here, we're going to do a simple right angle weave. I want you to add on one of your pearls, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of your 11 OC beads, and I'm using the Crystal Labrador Fool. One more Czech pearl, and then 5 more seed beads. Our 5 seed beads are going to be the side of our right angle weave. The pearls are going to be the middle. From here, you're going to take your thread and needle back up through those 5 11 OC beads, away from the stop bead, and through the pearl. After doing so, repeat. So you're going to do 5 of your 11 OC beads, and this is an easy way also to learn right angle weave. 1 of your pearls, and then 5 more of your seed beads. After you add those all down onto the thread, you're going to sew back through the pearl that your thread is currently coming out of. It's coming out the left-hand side. We're going to sew into the right-hand side of that pearl. And then after doing so, I'm going to flip it in my hand here. I'm going to sew up through those 5 11 O's that sit along the side here, where my thread was coming out, and then through that pearl to the other side. This gets repeated until you have your desired length of your bracelet, being anywhere maybe from 6.5 to 7.5 inches. Keep in mind our cup button, when we add it, will add about 1/2 inch to the design. So go ahead and continue on with that base section of your right angle weave. When you get to the end of your first right angle weave pearl section, and I did 20 pearls total in the design for mine, I want you to add 1, 2, and 3 of your 11 O's, add 1 of your 4mm crystals, and that is in the jet color, the PC Bicones, and then we're going to grab our wire guard. Go up through a wire guard or a wire protector. We're then going to grab our magnetic Art Deco clasp, which is always fun because everything sticks to it. Add that on right there. Go through the clasp as well as through that wire guard. You might need to do it one at a time here. And then afterwards, you're going to come down through the other side of the wire guard. When you come down the other side of the wire guard, then go ahead and pull the thread to make sure that it pulls tightly. Also, just note whether or not your thread is popping out of that wire guard. If it is, just make sure to put it back in there so you don't lose it. Come back down then through that 4mm bicone, add in 3 more 11s, go back through the pearl, and then reinforce the clasp one more time. We're now going to work to come back down the bracelet and add in our jet colored black 11 OC beads. So we're going to come down after reinforcing back through out that 4mm crystal, down through the side here and out the 3 11 O's in the Crystal Lab Fool. Once we're out those 3 11 O's in the Crystal Lab Fool, to connect here, I want you to add 1 and 2 of your 11 O's in the jet color. When you add 2 in the jet color, you're going to let them drop down next to your design, and then I want you to sew back through just bead number 1. So you're just sewing back through bead number 1. Bead number 2 is going to sit kind of right towards the top of it, right on the top right there. This will eventually get folded over the top as we go in and add our champagne colored seed beads. So down through the 5 seed beads on the right hand side here, add in 2 more of your jet 11 O's. Let those jet 11 O's slide down next to your clasp and your pearls. Slide back through bead number 1, going into the same hole there. And that again puts bead number 1 and number 2 right on top of one another. Push those down next to the last 11 O's and slide down then through the next 5 Crystal Lab 11s. You're going to continue adding these 2 beads kind of sitting there and creating a little arch for your piece to sit in. Again, always 2 beads get added. We're going to do this to the right side and then to the left as well. Then you're going to sew back through the one that you just added, as well as the next 5 seed beads. Pulling that other black one right on top, right to the side. Continue down the right side. On the left side, when we get to the end, we'll add our 3 11 seed beads, our crystal, and we'll connect to the other side of our clasp. When I got to the end here to add the clasp, what I did was add my 11 seed beads and did that rotation, then added 3 11 in the silver color, my jet up through the wire guard, onto the other side of the clasp, down through the wire guard, through the jet. Added 3 more of my 11 seed beads and then came on back through and repeated. Now I'm down the opposite side, ready to go in and create and add the 11s down the opposite way. I have those 11s sitting there then, just waiting to be encapsulated with my crystals and my gold seed beads. Once you're finished adding your last 11 group here on the side, I want you to go up through your 3 11 seed beads, through your crystal, reinforce the clasp one more time, back down through the crystal and back through the 11 O's. From there, we're going to do some 15s and our crystals to sit on top. To get from the bottom row here to the top row, add 1 of your 15 O's in that champagne color and then sew through that open black bead there on the end. From there, we're going to come down the project, adding in 1, 2, and 3 15 O's, followed by 1 of my 4mm crystals in the jet, and then 3 of my 15 O's in the Duracoat Galvanized Champagne. From there, you're going to sew from the first hole of the pearl grouping of black to the second hole. You're also going to crisscross it in front of the pearl. So again, 3 seed beads go on, 1 of your crystals go on, 3 more of my champagne crystals. Once I have those on, I'm going to take my thread and needle across the center of the pearl and down through the 11 that sits on the top on the other side. I'm always catching on to the 11 O's that sit on the top, which is going to bring those 11 O's in towards the center of the design. Just to show an alternative in case you are looking for something a little more sparkly, here is one of our spike or our stud crystals that Sheryl used in her original design. I'm using the 4mm just to make it a little bit more accessible in case you don't have those stud crystals in the 4mm. Once you're done snaking down one side of your project, you're going to be coming out your last of your 11 O's. Pick up 1 of your 15 O's in the champagne, go through the 11 O's, and if you know your wire guard can handle it, you can go ahead and go up through that one more time. I've removed my starter thread or my stop thread, and what I'm going to do is come right down through that last 3 11 O's. Out I go, add 1 more 15. Oh, and before adding that 15, you're going to tie off the starter thread with the thread you're using. So I'm going to tie a nice knot, and then I'll go in with my thread burner and burn down the extra thread that's remaining from that starting piece. After doing this nice knot here, I'm going to pick up my needle back up, grab my 15 sew into the top hole of that 11 there on the edge, just like we've been doing. Pull your thread out if you have your thread mixed in there. And then once you're there, it's very, very simple. You're going to pick up some of your 15 seed beads, 1, 2, 3. Grab this 4mm bead from the bottom or further down the bracelet and sew towards the top. That's going to pull that bead right down there into the center. Go ahead and add 3 more of your 15 O's, 1, 2, 3, and then sew through the next 11 on the opposite side. This will create that crisscross pattern. Whether or not you're using the bicones or the studs, they'll sit nicely encapsulating the pearls right below. You can either do the purple studs in that metallic purple along with the eggplant, or you can do a white and black. It's interesting to see how different the design looks depending on the color and the beads that you choose. As you add the little X's in there, you can see how the spike, because it does sit up, or the stud rather, a little bit higher, it's going to give you a little bit more of that Xing effect versus the bicone that sits out a little further. Both bracelets are lovely, lovely designs, and it's fun to just see that little bit of a variation. So I wanted to thank Sheryl for the idea for this Marlee bracelet. It is a beautiful design with a nice, simple execution of doing that right angle weave, that simple little square stitch to add in, and then crisscrossing along the top. It's a great basic stitch, even though it doesn't look like it. It looks more complicated than it actually is. Remember, if you do need any materials, check out the links below to shop with us online at PotomacBeads.com, as well as PotomacBeads.eu. Remember also, you can comment below, say what you changed up, different design ideas, different questions that you may have, or really just to help out the beading community and share your knowledge. As always, you can also, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button that sits in the corner so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you again, Sheryl, for the beautiful design.